Hey guys, Wolfstrike Gamer here. Today we're going to playing Crazy on Roblox, and I'm just gonna discuss mechanical blocks. So I'll be doing a Playing Crazy series where I explain just how the game works, basically. So let's see, delete all of that. So for all you guys that don't know how to play, you can either tap, press 1, or click this building button to open up your building menu for your planes. You could click, tap, or press 2, and now you are in delete mode, and you could just click a block to delete it. Or you can press this X button to delete your entire build, everything in your plot. And this is your plot. You can't build anything outside, and there is a sky limit of like, I don't know how many blocks. This button, let me show you for example. This can edit items that are editable, and if it has a blue outline, then that block you can edit it. Then you click on it, tap, or yeah, you can click or tap, and then backward and forward. These are just keybies. I'm just explaining this. Speed. You can drag that, toggle, yeah. And then your delete tool, it will highlight it in red. Then you could press delete. Then this button raises your build if you want to do that. And then this button you can paint stuff with. You can do paint bucket to paint your entire build like that. So I'll do an example. I'll just spam some blocks down. And then you could just go red for one, or you could do paint bucket and do all of it red. And then you have this button. So we're going to need a main pilot seat. Kind of build a quick thing just to explain for you guys. And then, and if you have a main pilot seat, it's red and it is in your light bulb things, your required ones. And then once you do that, you can press the green fly button, and I'm not moving because I have an anchor block. And you can move with this. So this is your altitude. If you go down, then you're under the map. If you go up, then you're above the map. You can have infinite fuel, or oh geez. You could have infinite fuel or zero, or you could do false, which means out of fuel. If you do that, then yeah, I think I glitched it. So autosave true, you want that. Anti-copy blacklist, you want this to be true. And then you could do ragdoll and parachute key to whatever you want, but I would suggest like P for parachute. Ragdoll key, I don't really need it, but yeah. Building arrow, you could choose. And these you could do spawn your build at your base, like we just did, or in the ocean, or at the airport, or at the train rails. And the music, exactly know what that does. I don't think you need to mess with these. This is where you can blacklist people. Yeah. And yes, and then press that button, go back, go just to base. So now let's get into mechanical stuff. Ballast block, ballast beam, ballast block, and ballast tank. These ballast blocks are blocks that you could set their weight. So this, just a regular ballast block, could be set to a max of 10, and this can be set to a max of 40. So that means these are going to be heavier now. Then this, sink and float, you use these on submarines. They are controlled adding weight, so in the water you could sink, and that would make this go to max density. Or you could float, and that'd make it go to the least density. And you can use those on builds. Then PvP weapons and mechanical, we have a cutter, explosive ball, explosive block, a gun, and a rocket. What each of these do, this one is a cutter, self-protection, so in PvP mode, you have to be in PvP mode, and to do that, no, skip tutorial. To do that, you go into game modes, click on PvP, and go join game mode. And then you could use these. This cuts up another player's build, like shreds it basically. These on a key, on a hotkey, it would explode. Same with these. The difference between these, as far as I know, is that you can use these in like mechanical guns that you could like rotate and fire, but that would be pretty complicated. This could be used on bombers, so yeah. And the little gun does exactly what its name implies. If you hold left click, then it fires bullets. A rocket, you can fire, and close tracking, like if you're like 50 studs away from someone, it will like uh, track to them and fire at them. And the rocket can reload, other than these can't reload, like you don't get them back. If you use them, then that's it. These, if you have self-protection on, then you'll have these always, but if you don't have self-protection, then it'll cut up your own build if you have many cutters. So I'd suggest turning that on. Now, let's delete all of that. Now, let's look at motors. And motors 2. So the difference between motor 1, right here, and motor 2, right here. The difference between these is that these has a setting that will rotate to your mouse cursor. These don't have that. And it does have some other settings. So speed, that means it will spin faster, basically. And only this whitish gray part spins. Unless, I'll do an example. You have a block and a motor and that. So now, I will show you all of these. See, now that part moves since we did that. If it's on another motor. Then these, see just the white part. And you see this one? It moves to my mouse. See? I'm not pressing any buttons, like none of these are moving. And I move my mouse cursor to move that. If you don't want your mouse cursor to move with this motor too, then turn on servo. And that means you could just use the hotkeys. But another thing useful with this is that you have max angle. So you can only go 180 degrees. See? Like it won't move past that point. This can be useful in custom control surfaces. For example, if you had a motor 2 and the part that moves to your cursor is always this little yellow stud. And then we could get like wing panels, which we won't discuss this video, but then the custom control surface would be, and you could like lift it, and you could use max angle so it doesn't go all the way forward. So let's see, max angle 45-ish. Now it can only move that far and down. Only move that far and down. I would suggest, let's do a test. So if we upgrade it to 50, then it won't move. Yeah, it moves like that. So I would suggest doing 50 if you are a pro and you get into custom control panels. I would suggest something like 50 or 45 for your custom control panels. The next thing we're going to get into is pistons. Pistons push things. So this little gray part, this little blackish gray, that's what pushes. See? And now let's talk about the settings on pistons. You can go distance, so the gray part moves forward more, and max force, so it moves faster-ish. Wait. Oh, and a half piston can only be to 2 extended, and a regular piston can only do to 4. And toggle, you can turn that on, so you press the keys once, and it extends. Press them once, and it descends. So you don't have to hold the F key or whatever key you chose. You just press it and they go in. And they can also push blocks. Oof. Just for science. Yep, and it pushes that forward. Oh, and it's moving. It's actually moving forward. Cool. Now you know about pistons. Now let's do conveyors. Conveyor number 2, conveyor wedge. And it does, I would suggest actually, since we're going to test it, you might not need to do this, but I need to do toggle since I'm going to have to get out of my chair to test it out of the main pilot seat. Hey, come back here. Yeah, it moves you on the conveyor. Like, I'm not even moving. And there's resistance. Yeah, I'm not even moving right now. But I move. And there are conveyor drives, but that we aren't going to do that till later. That's part of the glitch. Oh, look at that. And there are suspensions. So, let's see. Just for testing. Gotta do that. Then gotta do stiffness and damping to full. Nope. Oopsie. But then we're going to need anchored block. I'll explain what that is later, but now it's on full power right now. And you can see slowly the suspension is moving in because it's holding up a rocket engine. Now, I just deactivated the anchor block. And suspension can be used on cars to raise it up and so you can go on track rails and ramps easier. Now we're going to talk about small landing gear. It doesn't need much explaining, but you just use it on the bottom of the plane, and it automatically extends when you launch, and you can press G to retract, and yeah. Next thing we're going to talk about is the disconnector. So, got a block on either side, and then it does what it says it does. It disconnects. So now it should be welded, right? But no, it disconnected this whole piece. So I'll show it in a bigger model just so you can understand. This is used on almost all bombers to drop their bombs. So we're going to go this connector. Always place it like that because this little piece right here, that flat piece, is what drops the stuff. And you could do all of them so it'd be like connected. I'm going to do that just for this purpose. And then we're going to raise this up. It's not high enough to show you. Then we're going to add more blocks. A bomber would have one of these systems somewhere inside of it. All bombers do. And then you disconnect. Don't say that. Gosh. Disconnected. Okay, I pressed G. I don't know what's happening. Oh, it's because they're all connected. Whoops. Let's do that, and then that, and that, and that. And then right. So you get the disconnector, place it like that. Make sure they're not touching these sides because then it will weld in Plane Crazy and it won't even matter because yeah, it was disconnected before, but now watch. All bombers have this to explode their bombers. I'm just going to delete all that because I'm lazy. I don't want to do that. So now we're going to talk about magnets. And don't worry about this for now. I'll just show you. Ooh. They didn't mean to do that, but yeah, let's increase the range to max. Do that. Super strength. And then if you're on computer, you can press C to copy paste to the other, or if you're on a phone, you can press copy. You could tap this copy, and on the next one, you could just go paste. And just for science purposes. Okay. They just went bye-bye. And you can use these, like if it's not magnets only, it could like drag me in. So, for example, and not magnets only, toggle, loose parts only, well, super strength, range, strength. So let's see. See, and it just pushed me away. You could use this for cannons to push balls up a barrel. But yeah, and rope. This, like I know you can climb it, but I don't exactly, haven't ever found any use for it. If you do find a use for this, comment it. But yeah, you can go blank and the rope gets bigger, or you could press R if you're on a PC, and it will do that. And you can, I'll explain the settings on these. Thickness, that makes the rope thick. Speed, that makes so when you press F or R, it goes faster. And restitution, I don't exactly know. See, now it got bigger just on that one. And it goes faster than the others. So now, for science purposes, nope, okay. It didn't do what I was going to think it was going to do. So now, next thing. Anchor block. So, for this, we're going to put super rocket engines. And like, no joke, just so you know how powerful this is, we have 3 super rocket engines and a main pilot seat. So right now these engines are on. And that's because the anchor block like basically freezes your build. So now if I unanchor it, you go at the speed of light. So you could use this to build up power and then release it. The next one we're going to talk about is the ball wheel. This doesn't have any power, it's just you can use them just as stabilizers, or yeah. But yes, they do roll, but you can't like speed them up or anything. Now a spring. This one is my favorite for trolls. Now we're going to get a main pilot seat to go on top. This one, brake load, oop, and beep. And then the springs are holding up so much power, and boing! And you could do this. You could use this for many things. You could use it for like ejection seats to eject the seat. But yeah. Next, tiny landing gear. I guess you can guess what this is, but we'll just test. And it's tinier than the small landing gear. And yeah, you could just do that. I would suggest like on a big plane, use 2 of these at the back and 1 at the front for, yeah. And then, let's see, parachute. This, exactly what it implies, exactly what it says, and it releases a parachute. Parachutes are glitchy in this game, so if you were to stay with this long enough, it would just blast itself into space. Because there's a parachute glitch. I can show you that in a second. So like, I'll show you the glitch. Now take my parachute, make sure it lands on top of me, deactivate it, and we wait till we gotta wait for it to do something specific. Hello? Is it gonna... No, not did I build. Yeah, you have to take a few tries, but once you do it, it like blasts you into space. Okay, this is taking too long to do it. Oh. You can build this kind of stuff in Plane Crazy. There's a suspension, there's a bunch of motors, same thing to connect all the cars. And they probably have like 2 sets of super rocket engines in each of these, since this thing would be heavy. But yeah, the next thing we're going to talk about is the last mechanical thing before we end this video. That is a smoke pipe. And it starts... Oh gee, what are the hotkeys to turn it on? L. We're just gonna set all the settings mostly to max. And then I want the turn on. Hello. I don't know why they're not turning on. Let's see. Well, I will show you one of my builds where they do work. And it is one of the troll spinners. I can show you that. And the smoke pipes on these do work. These are the smoke pipes. And are smoke pipes just not working? I don't know why, but the game's not letting my smoke pipes work. Yeah, it's my troll spinner. Whoever goes on it, I have an ejection seat in here with a spring under it and some suspension. Yeah, these smoke pipes. I feel like they should work. Yes, that'll be it for this episode. If you want to see more Plane Crazy, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. Really means a lot to this